The Detroit Lions are 1 week closer to playoff football in the Motor City. We'll recap the Week 17 matchup at Dallas before we look ahead to the regular season finale inside Ford Field. We're talking all about the NFC North champs right here on Inside the Pride.
Let's go. Going down. Sack back at the 30-yard line. Aiden Hutchinson got him again. Goes deep downfield. Got a man wide open. Inside the 5. Caught. End zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. How about that?
And by the way, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. All roads go through Detroit.
This is Inside the Pride on the Lions TV network. I'm Dannie Rogers. The 11-win Lions are on the hunt for one more W in the regular season. Before we look to the Vikings one last time for a Week 18 matchup, let's look back at a hard-fought battle in Dallas.
So the Lions, right now, the only thing in front of them is the Dallas Cowboys as we get ready for the kickoff here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. The Cowboys come in at 10-5. That is currently second in the NFC East. They are chasing Philadelphia. They have a chance to catch them, but they have to win. That's where it starts, and then they're going to need some help after that. This is what it's all about, folks. It's the only game in the National Football League as the Lions get ready to roll here. They're an underdog tonight. Hadn't happened too often this year. But the Dallas Cowboys are the favorite. Nobody's worried about that right now. It's all about what you do on the field. There's the snap. Prescott back. Prescott looking, stepping up, pumps. Now he's looking to roll right. Now he throws it downfield. He's picked up by the Lions. Coming back the other way. Ifeatu Melifonwu. Melifonwu across the 40-yard line and taken down at the 43. Another big play by Iffy. Prescott takes, fakes the give, sets in the pocket, looks, throws right side, caught CeeDee Lamb. He lost the football, and that went out of the end zone. That's going to be touchback Lions football. What a huge swing of events there for Detroit. That is a huge break for the Detroit Lions. Now he backs out. Dak takes the snap, sets up deep in the pocket. Pressure comes. Dak going to get hit, going to go down. Aiden Hutchinson got him. Prescott back. Prescott looking. Prescott going to get hit, going to get sacked. Aiden Hutchinson got him again. Aiden coming up big here late in the first half from their own 29-yard line. They give it to Montgomery, who bounces it outside. There he goes, 35-yard line to the 40. Gets blocked to the 45. Dallas territory at the 49, and he is run out of bounds there. Goff takes the shotgun snap, drifts left, look, throws, got to complete. Inside the 10-yard line, and down to the 9 goes Josh Reynolds. Jared takes the snap, turns, gives to Montgomery, running left, cuts it back to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. David Montgomery weaving his way through traffic to the house, and the Lions have got the lead back. There's the snap to Jared. He's back and looking with time. Jared loads up, throws downfield. Wants J-Mo inside the 30, inside the 25, inside the 15, and inside the 13-yard line. J-Mo comes up dancing, and the Lions with a big play. Lions defense has got to find some way to get them off the field. They need the ball back. Third down. Dak back. Dak looking. Dak gonna get hit. Gonna go down. Sack back in midfield. Aiden Hutchinson, number 3 on the night. And boy, is that big. So with 1:41 to play, the Lions are still in this. It is Dallas 20 and the Lions 13. 1:41 to play. They've got 75 yards they need to cover to get to the end zone. Goff looking, throwing deep middle. It is caught. Laporta out of the Dallas 40-yard line. Jared looking, throwing. It is caught. Amon-Ra inside the 30 and down to the 26-yard line. Goff works out of the gun. There's the snap. Back, looks, throws right side. Got Amon-Ra inside the 5. Dives to the end zone. Did he get in? Yes, sir. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Goff takes turns, fakes the give to Montgomery, sets the pocket, throws end zone wide open. It is caught. Taylor Decker, 2 points. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
The call is an illegal touch. I can't imagine them having that play in and him not reporting.
So the Cowboys are going to survive. Lions are going to come up just short, 20-19.
We knew it was going to come down to the wire. It's probably the way the guys fought. But credit to them. They played hard. You know, we knew they would. They'd give us their best shot, and they play well at home. They did again. And we'll see them in a couple of weeks.
A Lions legend who is full of stories to tell is kicker Jason Hanson. Hanson played his entire 21-year career with the Lions and stopped by the studio to talk his top moments and the legacy this team is building. That's up next. Inside the Pride is sponsored by Kroger, Henry Ford Health, and by the Ford Motor Company. Jason, how much bingo are you playing nowadays?
Yeah, none. I did that spoof with TJ a few years ago, and too many people think it was real that I spent my time at the bingo hall. So
you don't actually spend time.
I don't actually spend time at the bingo hall.
You look like a pro.
That's the sad thing, is I looked too natural, didn't I, in that environment? So it was supposed to be parody, but maybe it didn't come off that way.
Yeah. Bringing up just some of your playing career with the Detroit Lions and afterwards. I mean, you played 21 years in Detroit, and you're still here in Detroit. You're from your native Washington. Why did Detroit become home for you?
Because I played here forever, right? And so there were some years I went back and forth, but the kids grew up here. When I finished, I played so long, right? So my oldest was in high school. Not a lot of players get to say that. And so we had entrenched, and when I finished, I didn't jump right into another career. So life was happening here. And one of the great pleasures of my career was being able to play in the same area, the same team for my whole career. So unlike most guys, I had this unique connection to where I had been, so it was natural to kind of stay here in the area.
How have you maintained that connection with the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, it's been great through community events, right? As far as the football product on the field, they got their people and nobody wants an old guy hanging around. But as far as the community, and being able to go out and represent the Lions, which they do a lot in the community, that's a natural fit. I love doing that. And then game day and those kind of things, it's been a lot of fun actually to connect with the fans after playing. When you're playing, I was around the fans, but you also isolate more, right? It's intense and you're doing your thing, and it's wonderful to see the pride, the city, the fans that people have in the team. And so to connect with the Lions and go do that is always fun to do.
Mm-hmm. What's been your biggest takeaway from fans now, seeing how this team has found some success as of late?
Well, I'm mostly glad for the fans, right? They deserve this. They deserve, for all the years that they have supported the team and they love the team, and so they're getting what they deserve as a really good football product. And they're responding just like you would think. They're insane, right? They're traveling all over the place. I'm on TV, you can hear them in the opposing stadiums, and that's the kind of thing that used to happen to us. And so this is wonderful, and the fans are all in, and they should be. This is a good product. There's something going on here. They got a lot to prove, but at the same time, they're rightfully on board, and I'm glad. I'm really glad for the fans.
What do you think of these Detroit Lions right now and what Dan Campbell has been able to do while you have a close seat living here in Michigan and still keeping tabs on the team?
I think it's legit, and I think that everybody senses that. It's different. They fight, and they've built something, and it's fun, and the excitement that everybody feels. You can see when something is done right. They're a competitive, good football team. It's a reflection of Dan Campbell and everybody and the players they have, and it's exciting.
Which of your teammates became one of your best friends, either during your playing days or afterwards?
The punter always was my buddy, because we hung out together, and he was the holder. So there's a whole list of John Jett I played with for a lot of years. Nick Harris I've stayed in touch with a bunch. We're great friends. And Don Muehlbach, the snapper. Right, and I had some snappers, but Don played with for a long time and loved that guy. And so I got along with all the teammates, right? I mean, obviously what I did was completely different than the team, but it never was this weird, I had my own special locker across the hall. You were there. I never pretended I was one of the guys in the way they were, but we were a team. They appreciated they went out. So it wasn't any awkwardness, but obviously I wasn't hanging out in the offensive meetings and the defensive meetings. I spent all my time with the punter and snapper, and so those were my guys, and still stay in touch with them.
21 seasons with Detroit, a couple of Pro Bowl seasons. What is your favorite year of all time that you've played here in Detroit?
Favorite year of all time? Well, that's a great question. Early in my career, the first half of my career, the first 10 years at the Silverdome, we had some successful seasons, and we had played some big games, and I have a lot of good memories of that. This is going to be really weird, but the 0-16 season was one of my better seasons. I think I missed just one and hit all my 50-yarders and such. And I know it's kind of rude to celebrate what I did, but to show up every week and execute and to hold it together and kind of do my thing, I felt good about that. But there's lots of great moments throughout my career, and more than moments or my performance, the guys I played with, memories of making friends and the teammates is really what you remember.
I do want to make it about your moments there. I have a couple of moments. I would like you to rank them, whether or not they're actually your top moments. First option, September 1994, Atlanta in town at the Silverdome. You kick a game-winning field goal in overtime And the word is you can't even feel your kicking leg. It was injured on a play before that.
That's true. That wasn't like a fake kicker injury. That was the real deal. I think I had kicked off at the end of the game and had to make a tackle. And somehow when I made the tackle, the guy's knee went into like a deep Charlie horse. The kind where like my leg literally froze up and was like, I can't even hardly use this. And again, I don't think that was just like being a baby kicker. That was the real deal. And so, but made it out there and then made the kick. And so that was big. And I was on crutches for a few days and then played the next week. But it was, yeah, it was real pain, I think, and made the kick.
Second option, Lions, Bills. Bills are returning your kick. You meet a Mr. Beasley at the 40-yard line. You tackle him, force a fumble, then you pick it up and you try to run with this ball. So that's your second option.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was a preseason game, and so
they still count.
It does count. I mean, he did flip and I did do it, but it's also not my favorite because it's embarrassing because when I pick it up, I instantly go into the fetal position because I realized like I was old enough for it to click in like, get down. If you go another step, you're dead. So it's kind of embarrassing to see what I did afterwards. So that's number 2 compared to the first one.
Okay, and then number 3, this moment against the Colts, you managed to hit both sides of the uprights. That's pretty impressive.
That's number 3. Short kick, I remember it too, and I hit it and it went bink, bink, and out. And again, it's just that terrible feeling. It was a short field goal too, and it was just like, that did not just happen. And so it might be cool to think about, afterwards, but it was like, oh my goodness. And so, yeah, that's number 3.
Okay, personally for you, what is the top moment of your career?
True story. We're playing the 49ers out at, I think it was Candlestick at that point. There's no wind in the first half, which is amazing. It's always a terrible place to kick, and I miss. We got in the second half, and I don't know what happens there with the Santa Ana winds or whatever they call it, but it's a hurricane. The goalposts are shaking, and it's like the third or fourth quarter. When they send me out for a field goal, it's like a 45-yarder, dead into the wind. I have no chance of making this. The O-line coach is screaming as I take the field, what are we doing? He can't make this. And so I'm like, I can't believe I'm about to miss 2 kicks in the game. This is depressing. I kick it, and it goes up, and it dives in, and I look, and the ref goes that it was good. And I'm screaming, that's the greatest kick of my life. And I turn around, and all my teammates are just walking off the field because it's a 45-yarder in the NFL, you're supposed to make that. So I had this celebration of, that was the most amazing moment of my life, and nobody wanted to celebrate with me. So anyways, again, just a little anticlimactic to hear the story, but literally it's one of my best kicks ever, and I don't think there's a single person in the universe that would ever think that.
So it's a lonely world as a kicker.
That's the life of a kicker.
What's it like being the GOAT kicker for the Lions?
Football fans, but especially Detroit fans, I think that they appreciated loyalty, but also just I tried to be consistent and be a professional and try to do it. And there's lots of periods, and there's been a couple seasons where it's like thumbs down, But for the most part, I think they've appreciated someone who gave their best the entire career. And I maybe got more love than I deserve because of being in Detroit for the entire career. And there were some lean years, I keep saying that, and can't run from it. But I think that they appreciated consistency during those years and someone doing their job. I'm overwhelmed sometimes that people still are excited about what I did in football, and it's meaningful. And again, 21 years in the same place is a big part of that, and I don't take it for granted, and hopefully have a chance to use that to be part of what they're doing in the community and leverage that somehow, even though the kids have no idea who I am, right? I show up, and if I don't have Rory by my side, whose dad is this? We wanted a football player, so I need him to be with me, but if I can put on the jersey and use that credibility with their parents, if nothing else, then that's worth it.
Welcome back to Inside the Pride. I'm joined by head coach Dan Campbell. You said you're moving on from week 17. How did the roller coaster help make the mission even clearer for your Lions going forward?
It's something we talked about early in the year, really before the year even started training camp, was how and you got to be able to overcome all these things, man. You got to be able to take it all as it comes, the highs, the lows. We can't feel sorry for ourselves. You can't point the finger at somebody else. Look, we just got to go to work, clean up what we can clean up. And we putting together 2 good games these last 2 weeks. Wanted to get the division. We put up a pretty good fight against Dallas. It wasn't good enough to get the win. But, man, we're there, and our psyche's right, and we got to do it again this week.
You'll do it again against the Minnesota Vikings, second time in 3 weeks. Last time you faced them, held them to 17 rushing yards, so let's focus on the receiving game with Justin Jefferson. 141 yards last meeting. How do you make sure you can contain him in that pass game?
there is a balance, and it's been this way now for a little while. Because we want to pressure, and when you pressure, you know, inevitably you're probably going to have a lot of one-on-ones. You don't get any help, you don't get doubled, and so you got to be able to hold on there. But we're saying the risk is worth the reward to get a hit on the quarterback or a turnover. Now, otherwise, in coverage, you got to be able to double this guy. We're going to have to roll coverage on him, and even when that happens, you roll, you double. That means you got one-on-ones now and other places, and those guys have to win when we do that. And here you go. You can argue this is a form of being doubled, and he still makes a play here. So that's the issue, right? So he's tough. He's as good as they come outside. He's dynamic. They give him a chance to make a play. We got our hands full.
Defensively, we know what Danielle Hunter is capable of. 15.5 sacks on the season. Let's talk about his buddy up front there with Jonathan Bullard. He's having his best season of his career yet. He's going to want to clog the run game.
Yep.
How do you make sure that you get past him?
That's tough. This is a big man now. He's powerful. He's strong. He's disruptive. You know, he gets an edge. He's able to get under you, to lift you. He does things like this all the time in the run game, and this is where he's hard. And then look at Danielle setting the edge and then him getting penetration, and that's what makes it tough. But he is playing at a high level. He is a load, and they do a good job of making sure those matchups are over guys that they feel like this guy's a little too big and too powerful for you. And that's what they've done a good job. He's playing well.
Coach, on the back end of that defense is safety Josh Metellus. He led all Vikings with 10 tackles in the last matchup. 4 forced fumbles on the season. Where can you stunt his production at Ford Field?
This is a guy you got to have a hat on no matter what, because he's kind of this rover safety, then he plays true safety, then he plays kind of this linebacker, and there'll be times where he'll be pointed for the line to get him. And then there's times where he'll be a support player and the receivers have to block him. But it doesn't matter who's got him, somebody's got to block him, because he does stuff like this all the time. He's got a nose for the football. He's a run and hit guy. He's aware, he's crafty, he's smart. And there's a number of times where he's got his hands on the ball. They don't always come out, but more times than not, he's getting them out. So you got to bring your best, or he'll find a way to get it out. He's a damn good special teams player, too. I
know your Lions will want to bring their best in the regular season finale at Ford Field. How do you balance, though, the fact that this is a Week 18 game against the Vikings? You guys are a lock in the playoffs. What does the balance look like with having the playoffs looming, but wanting to stay focused on the Vikings?
Here's the thing. I don't care at what level you're in, where you're at. This is competition. And at the end of the day, honestly, it doesn't matter how you feel or what you think. There's another man lining up in front of you that wants to beat you. And what do you want to do? You want to take it, or do you want to go win? And that's got to be our mindset no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's preseason games, first game of the year, last game of the year, playoffs. That's the attitude. And so we got a team full of guys like that. We have to go respond.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
Wishing for something special? Maybe it's VIP seats, the meal of a lifetime, or an unforgettable journey. Whatever it is, Community Financial Credit Union can make it a reality. Share your impossible dream at impossibledreams.org by scanning the QR code at the bottom of the screen. Before we wrap up this episode of Inside the Pride, we've got some Rogers retweets, and it is no secret that Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God, has been producing in his first 3 years in the NFL. Check out this stat. There are only 5 players in the NFL to produce 2 seasons with 100-plus receptions and 1,000-plus receiving yards within a player's first 3 seasons. Justin Jefferson did it back in 2021-2022, and now Amon-Ra St. Brown joins some of the greats as these Detroit Lions are chasing history. Speaking of history, let's take it back to Minnesota. We gotta give a shout out to the big guys up front who dominated in that game against the Vikings. PFF has this group ranked number 2, but we know they're number 1 in our hearts. Congrats to these guys for becoming NFC North champs. And last but not least, 'tis this season. Kenny, aka Pac-Man, surprised his pops with some playoff tickets. We love your Michigan hat, sir. The Detroit Lions sweatshirt, one of a kind. But the emotion is just the best part. Aw, isn't that the sweetest thing? Congrats to Pops. We'll see you at Ford Field for round 1 of the playoffs. Oh, you love to see it. The playoffs are around the corner, but the Minnesota Vikings are up next. The regular season finale kicks off right here in Detroit inside Ford Field this Sunday. We'll see you there.